And it's time to say goodbye to all my Puerto Rican friends. No, what's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday morning. Thirsty Thursday morning. We're starting it off with some... Oh, you can hear it. That's Guade iced coffee. Speaking of Guade, I've been looking around the old globe trying to see where I want to go. Well, no, I know where I'm going next. I'm going to Guate. I might be going to Antigua. I might be going to Shela. I might be going to Panajachel. On top of that, I just don't freaking know. There's a lot of places I want to go. What else? Bogota, Colombia? Anyone cool with that? My dog's freaking out. Doggy security system? I don't know. Just hanging out right now. I do have the silver chart up as well. Give me 1 second. Let me see what the dogs are freaking out about because it is very early for them to be freaking. Hold on really quick. Doggies, no. 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 Sorry, that was doggy security system. Neighbor's dog was outside, just wanted to play. Buenos Aires for the beef. That's where I'm going, Portugal. What's up, Chameleon? What's up, Sparkwater? Andrew Butcher, I'm live now. Check it out. We are going to do some D-Gen crypto talk. We're also going to talk about IPOs that have sucked massive bears. Trick is saying, morning all, morning to you, Trick, and silver is right now at $119. We're going to have the silver chart up on the screen today, kids. Red is on the screen right now, not if you're into silver. Yeah, not so. But it is red on the screen for crypto because people are kind of thinking the bank's got a lot of power. Enough power to shut down the regaronis. Why did I cough right there? Because the air is drier than crap down here with this cold temp, man. I have my humidifier like roaring in here and it is still dry. Bro, location services, nothing burger, a little bit of veggies, still important, at least you forget. Agreed. We need this. We need two parts of this bill. You need the part from the Senate Ag Committee, and then you need the part from the Banking Committee. Today is the Ag Committee, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different things they're going to discuss for this bill, and then they're going to vote on it. What time's the meeting? The meeting is at 10:30 a.m. All right? I hope it's not moved to Monday. I sure as hell hope not. It's not moved to Monday. If it is, I will let you know. But as of right now, it says 10:30 a.m. Just putting it out there. Let's see. Razor Ramones is trying to sell H-bar tip today's. Ooh. Tori's hanging out with us. What's up to you as well? This is important, though, because we're going to see what these points of contention are. Again, we're welcome to read it. I actually do have the Senate Ag Bill right here. It's pretty easy. Just go into the Senate page. I'll have it all linked in the description down below after I'm done with the live stream, okay? I've got a lot of stuff that I'm just kind of running through right now. Let's see. DRDMZ says, sup, brother? And yes, that is Eastern time. That is 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Here, how about I do this? I'll pin this as a comment for everyone. Give me a second here. Okay, so at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, they debate and we go live. It is like 45 minutes away. It is not, or not even 45 minutes away. About like 40 minutes away from now. So we're really not far at all from this going on down. We've been talking about a lot of things. We've been talking about travel. I keep looking at Chile, but like everyone tells me the people are rude. Like, and like that's kind of, I've heard this from like multiple locations and sources about Chile. But honestly, anyone had any experience in Chile, especially the mountains? I would love to go there. Handpan for Life says we're going to be strung along again. Somehow I feel. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if today is about stringing it along. I think what today is about is getting through the whole CFTC. How are we going to look at crypto? Is crypto a security or is crypto a commodity? That's going to be a big part of today's meeting. And remember, if you didn't check out my morning video, Trump administration's got a big meeting planned on February 2nd. They're going to meet and they're going to try to get both sides of the banks, Brian Armstrong, they're going to try to get them together on yield. That's a key one too. If they postpone that meeting, the White House is like one where they're kind of like moderating. If they postpone it, that is bad. And you will see the market shit itself. Because we can't go forward without the banking part. But we still need this part here. Because we need to know, is it a security? Is it a commodity? Like, how does it work with futures? Are we going to have, like, papers for it where, like, we could short it on? There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff here that's going to go on. Let's see. Our own trauma says I'm down 16%, almost 600. Let's go. Yeah, we need something good to happen. You're seeing a lot of people in the market just getting beat up right now with extended downturn of prices. And this has been going on for a while. For BTC, the peak was in October. For a lot of the alts, the peak was in July when we had crypto week. So we know Regs can move the news. We just need some good Regs news. I got Senator John Boozman. Do you think like they like made fun of him like drinking wise? Like, oh, look, it's Boozman. He's boozy. Like, got Boozman up. He's the head of the ag committee that we're going to be watching today. So I've been following him, keeping up on track to that. In terms of Justin Cody says, should I have waited to buy XRP? Dude, like, I still buy stuff that people think is expensive. There's still people buying gold and silver right now, as silver is just roaring to like $120. So it's seriously all relative. And I think that's like a really big point to this, is I don't like to chase. I think there's so many markets out there that you always can get into something that's got a good amount of oomph going to it, right? I really do. And I think a lot of markets, which can be boring, still hold value. They're just boring because other things are stealing the show. Gold and silver stealing the show right now. AI is stealing the show right now. Shutdown fears are stealing the show right now. They jumped back up again, back up to 61% chance. Keisha 104 says, have you ever considered Ecuador? I have a buddy down there right now, stunning and affordable. I have definitely thought of Ecuador. I guess, like, okay, so here's the thing. So I've traveled a fair amount of places. Oh, shit. Hold on. I got to tell my wife that the dogs have been fed. Hold on. Before she feeds them again, and then my dogs, like, go like, oh, we haven't eaten, and they push the bowls. They're freaking huge dogs. Hold on a second. I already fed the dogs. Whew. All right, situation averted, because I know what they'll do. They'll start grabbing their bowls and bringing them to her. My wife will feed them, not knowing that I fed them early. Okay, so here's the whole thing. Regs, where we're at with prices, where we're at with volume, where I'm at with travel. It's all about one thing right now. Things being hot, spicy, naughty, and relevant. For a long time, gold and silver was, dude, boring AF. That's it. Boring AF. And now it's hot as could be. So honestly, things rotate. Executive orders are cool. Okay, listen to this. Our own trauma says, Howard Lutnick called it last year. It just takes one executive order and everything changes. That's not true. Because these executive orders get undone all the time. And in fact, if all it took was one executive order, how come we really don't have anything going on with the strategic reserve? We're just not selling any from our stash that we confiscated. That's stupid. Like, you get what I'm saying? These executive orders are only as good as the president that put them in there. First thing Trump did when he got in office, undid the Biden executive orders. First thing Biden did when he got in office, undid the Trump executive orders. Are like, they're like hopium. They're like a direction. This is the direction we want to go. We just don't know if we have the votes in Congress to make it happen. That's what an executive order is. Hope is falling for a reason. The banks want it cheap so they could buy it up now before it's expensive. Because once this flip happens, everything goes up. Greetings from Germany. Hans is in the house. Was ist los, mein Freunden? Ja, das ist scheiße. Scheiße is ADA down 5%. H-bar down 5%. Pi coin down 5, but holy shit, dude. Pi has been one of those, right, that has been a total overpromise, under deliver. Let's see. Says you are very quiet, Klaus, and I have my volume at 100%. I should be pretty strong right now. I mean, like, I should really, really be pumping it out pretty good. Just give me a second here. I do have, let me just see what feedback looks like. If you have issues with sound, let me see. Give me a second here. I can change this in here. Let me just, come on, guys. Have a little bit of problem. Here we go. Yeah, sound-wise, it says I'm still putting it out at 100%. So I got to be real careful because I don't want to, like, blow out the mic, but I should be putting it out here. I can move it a little closer. Let's do that, right? Let's just bring the macaroni just a little bit closer. There we go. Okay. Maybe now the sound's a little bit crispier. Is that better? Is that... Here we go. I'm just adjusting the mic right now, getting it all set. Here we go. Okay, just clamping. I'm just adjusting the clamps. I have all the things right here that I got to tighten up. Come on, that's how it goes. As you're seeing this shit live, this is how it is. Sorry, I'm struggling. You guys are hearing what it's like to do this shit live. Okay, cool. So it's a little bit closer to my mouth. Hopefully that helps you out as well. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it's tough with crypto right now because it's just not hot. And it'll be crazy hot if we get the regs. But you have to think, like, money rotates. There's not just like this endless amount of supply. And that's what the banks know. The banks know if crypto gets regs, a shit ton of money is going to leave the banks and going to go into crypto. All of a sudden, you've got gold and silver. If people start taking massive amounts of profits, they're going to take those profits and they're not going to park them in a bank. They're going to park them somewhere else. They're going to be like, okay, where now can we make the next amount of money? This is very, very freaking... Remember when EVs were the hottest thing out there? Remember when solar panels in the solar industry was the hottest thing out there? I remember all that kind of shit. Now, chips, you want to buy some RAM? You want some RAM-aroni? You're going to be spending some money. I was pricing out a new PC, little DDR5 action. You know how shit-ass expensive that is? Crazy expensive. Things are hot, things are not. And that's just how it is. Things rotate. We have this attention span now. Like, a global attention span is, like, really small. You see that in financial markets all the time. All the freaking time. Tesla, 1 year it's hot. Next year, sucks balls. Amazon, hot and then balls. The FANG companies, right? Like, you see all these things and it's like, not everything goes up all at once. It seems like there's like a limited amount of money. And remember those toys where you used to like grab them and you'd squeeze it and like one eye would pop out this way, one eye would pop out that way. And if you squeeze it on the other end, like both eyes would pop out. It's like that. Wherever you squeeze it here, it kind of comes out over here. But if you squeeze over here, it kind of comes back out over here. DDR5 is so expensive. Yes, DDR5 is insanely freaking expensive. I've bought a lot lately too. I'm telling everyone out there, I have bought a lot lately. I do have a pretty hefty order for H-Bar here coming up pretty soon, like really, really soon. Just putting it out there. I do have a pretty substantial one going into H-Bar here soon, so I got to keep my eyes out on that. Let's see. Amir Devuti says, Klaus, I'm down 80 grand on XRP. I'm probably finished forever. No, you never finished forever. Trust me, never finished forever because there's always opportunities out there. Always. If you were a little older, maybe you did the .com bubble and you made some money on that. Different ages have been able to benefit on housing booms. We just had one here as of late where housing values just freaking exploded. We're going through a precious metal boom right now. There's always something. There was a tech boom for a while. There was a, I don't want to say this in a weird way, but there was like a weird pharmacy related, like, you know, let's give everyone injections boom for a while. There's a GLP-1 boom right for a while. So you're seeing it across like different spots. And yeah, things are taking an absolute beating at the moment. An absolute beating. Di Watson says, if you don't believe in XRP, why invest so heavily? I have zero doubt. It's not about having doubts. It's just about being realistic, right? Not every player makes it, right? Look at BlackBerry. BlackBerry was a massive cell phone maker. They made some bad mistakes and tanked it. So not everything is a guaranteed win. And what are we learning with crypto? Crypto has periods where it's super hot, where the price and the markets are crazy. When we had the announcement of Crypto Week in July, dude, market cap was 3.09 trillion, brought us all the way up to $4.2 trillion. You know how much that is? That is a ton. That's what just Crypto Week did. And that was for stablecoins. Can you imagine what that would do for the market for in terms of like the alt? It'd be insane if we get it, but we got to get it. And that's what the market's pricing in right now. They're pricing in the fact that maybe we don't get regs this year. That's kind of a problem. You see what I mean? That is a problem. And so, no, it's not about thinking that things are going to make it or not. It's the overall market that these things are in. Because XRP kind of trades along with the blob of everything else. ETH trades with the blob of BTC. BNB trades, like everything kind of trades like in this big blob together. So you're not really seeing too many individual things. And when you do, they pump and dump like Hyperliquid, like the Zcash and Monero plays. What about ICP? It's the same thing. And regs will definitely help. Regs will definitely help this. But that's what the market's pricing in right now. What if we don't get the regs? Ooh, Beth is hanging out, says, good morning from the Pacific Northwest. I have zero expectations today. My expectation, bring you news, good, bad, happy, or Sam, to be dedicated to you. I know that during this extended downtime, we're going to lose a bunch of channels that just don't cover crypto anymore because it doesn't pay. Like, the views have gone down so heavily because the market sentiment has been beaten up so badly. There's been so many prophecies that haven't followed through that a lot of channels are going to start slowing down their broadcasts, and a lot of channels are going to shut their doors completely. I saw this the last time when Gensler and Biden did their whole thing with crypto. We saw tons of channels go away. Tons of them. You're going to see the same thing happen again. Because when the action's not hot, spicy, naughty, or relevant, a lot of players bail. But I'm going to keep bringing you the news every freaking day. Maybe not on my travel days, like the actual days that I'm flying, because it's a little hard. But yeah, most of the travel days I do bring you the news anyway, so just throwing it out there. Let's see. Mr. Fantastic says, really hoping we get some of those trillions for the banks and the 401k Roth money. See, and that's why we need yield too. This is seriously about the banks giving up their biggest chunk of power. And that's all the money sitting in those accounts in the banks right now. Let's see. What makes you think that just because XRP goes up, that Flare will hit $1 to $2? Flare is another thing where it's been a big overpromise and underdeliver. When I first started covering this, Flare was really big in, doing their F-class assets thing and how it was going to revolutionize crypto and all this. The problem was it took them so long to do it that like the market was like, okay, that's your Flare chart. You could see every hit has been less intense as it's gone on, and it's eroded massive, massive gains. 818 MacGyver says, I can't fully understand why a project like XRP with all the development is sitting at $1.80 right now. The reason XRP is sitting at $1.80, the reason Flare is sitting at 1 cent is because a lot of businesses don't want to put money into it because they're not sure if it's protected. If the next president is anti-crypto, we are erasing all this shit because we don't have regs yet. And that's the whole thing. So the reason price action sucks is we don't have regs. Businesses are too afraid to dump billions and billions and billions in. Banks are too afraid of losing $6 trillion right now, money that they're sitting on, people's deposit money. And the whole thing is, all the momentum that we've gotten right now, that we've had, that we've lived through this past, year and plus, can be erased if the next president, the next regime is anti-crypto. So we need the regs first. Because if you're a business that employs 10,000, 100,000 people. You're not putting a shit ton of your money and a ton of your assets into something that might get wiped out by the next administration. You're not taking that risk. And that's why big money's on the sideline. That's why retail is getting crushed, because retail is looking at this going, oh shit, what if we do go back to Gensler? What if we do go back to the days of the SEC wrecking crypto because we never got regs all the way through? That's why people are freaking out right now. But if you think we're going to get regs, yo, this is one of the best opportunities out there. It is risky as shit. It is one of the best chances you got out there. The only way, though, you can play is you got to have cash constantly coming in to help you take advantage of some of these opportunities. XLM just dipped under 20 cents, everyone. Like I said, be paying close attention to this. We're going to see this stuff all happen. And when they go live, we will be able to share this with you. They should be going live at 10:30. I'm going to have this up right here. Got it up on the old screen. When it's ready to go, it's going to be ready to go. Let's see. Yes, I did try fixing the sound. The sound on my end is like 100%. You could see I sometimes bleep into the yellow, which is the oh shit, Klaus, don't be that loud. So yeah, I just thrown it out there. That's the best I'm doing on my sound. If you need to, refresh it. Why isn't Hedera advertising and telling everyone how much better their crypto is than most cryptos? Because again, everyone's doing the same thing. Like if you look at this blob of crypto right now, what's the big thing? Tokenization. Dude, everyone's doing tokenization. ETH has got tokenization. You got Sol tokenization, Stellar, XRP. You got tokenization everywhere. Well, what about DeFi? You got DeFi everywhere. You see what I mean? Like everyone's running the same playbook right now. There's no one in this blob that's really doing anything different. It's all still super speculative. So yeah, HBAR, they can advertise all they want, but advertise what? Like who's doing what differently? You know, no one in this blob is really like setting the trend here. Audio listener here, so I'm upvoting for podcasts. Awesome. Cozy Zug says, what's up, dude? Been gone a while. Happy to hear you live. Thank you. HBAR is flirting with 9 cents. I could always degen it a little bit. I got no problems with that. It might be worth a whack for me. 9-cent-a-roni HBAR. Think about this, though. Everyone's got stablecoins on their chain, right? So that doesn't really separate everyone. Everyone's got tokenization. That doesn't really help anyone out as well either, does it? No, it doesn't. So that's what I mean. If we're all trading in this big blob together, this is exactly what you're going to expect. Let's see here. Let's go up onto the Twitter sphere and let's see if Eleanor's got anything for us. Like I said, she's a good one to follow for crypto news. Sorry, here we go. Nothing really too new from her, just the tokenization thing, blah, blah, blah. Klaus, what are you buying today? It depends who gets beaten up really bad. I mean, as you can see, I've got some options here. The HBAR 9-cent play is always just a fun gamble to take. I mean, I don't know, I kind of like that. There's some other ones out there. SWE is always one that kind of makes some funky moves. They're down 7%. There's opportunities here. No meme action for me. I'm going to stay away from meme. And that's my point, is everyone's doing like the same thing. Everyone did the launch pad. Everyone did meme coin launch pad. Ooh, pump.fun. Like this and that. Everyone did that shit. Everyone did NFTs. Now no one's doing NFTs. Like, you see what I mean? Like, in this market, you're not seeing any true separation. Let me get a little drink here. Some iced Guade coffee for everyone. And yes, at 10:30, we will be going live with the Senate Agriculture Committee. Yes, let me get a little Guade iced coffee, everyone. Ah, yes, Guade iced in the morning. Let's see. So what are we going to be seeing right now? We're going to be seeing market volatility. We're We're going to be seeing, honestly, a lot of negativity here, because if we don't get the regs, it delays us for a bit. And to be honest with you, you're seeing people in other markets that are probably going to be fairly tempted on taking profits. I mean, do you expect silver to just keep roaring? Yeah, don't get me wrong. If you zoom out, I expect it to keep roaring, but we know there's always pullbacks. We had a move right here where we saw a pullback twice, right around the $75 mark. Didn't hold, it went right back up after that, but you see kind of some profit taking. You see that happen. Let's see. Thoughts on Crow? Crow has a huge investment by, I think it's Trump Media Group, or it's something Trump related. I think it was Trump Media Group, or it was World Liberty Financial. It was one of the two. When that announcement was made, it pumped Crow to 20 cents. All right, you can see where we're at right now, 8.7 cents. So again, it's another one out there. When you get a hot bit of news, you got to act on that action. Because here, watch what happens when I bring up the Crow chart. All right, let's do that. Let's bring up Crow. Where we go? Crow. All right, 8.7 cents. See this? That's the Crow chart all time. There's another pumperoni and dumperoni. But the most recent one was this one. 33 cents it brought us up. And then it went all the way back on down. So it was at 8 cents where it's at right now. Went up to 33 cents with the Trump Media Group announcement. And boom, there you go. Mrs. Claus dropping support on the channel. Thank you very much. Says, ho, 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 good morning. I never catch you live, but watch you alive. Oh, nice. And I'm always entertained. You make me laugh in the space that's been robbing my joy. Thanks for saying the bad as well as the good. Hugs and kisses. Well, I appreciate that. I really, really do. Thank you very much. I do. I bring the news good and bad. And I think that's why my channel is going to last. Because people eventually, and we see it every day, they're tired of the hopium. Hopium has ruined this industry. Trump promised a strategic reserve, right? That just rocketed markets up, but then they all dumped because they're like, oh shit, wait, we're in so much debt. We really can't do anything about it. World debt clocks, let's put that up there just so we could take a little peek-a-roni. 38.6 trillion debt for the United States. Ouch, and everyone give Mrs. Claus a big thank you for dropping support on the channel. Let's see. Volume, if you have that issue, just hit the refresh button. That is on the YouTube end. That is not my end. Let's see. It's tough. I know what people are saying. It is. It's tough. But you get these pumps and dumps, and you see it quite often. You do. You see it quite often. We talked about the Kronos one. You're watching it right now. Negativity on the screen. Even like what happened with like Zcash and all that. The privacy tokens, they all freaking roared and then went back down. You, the viewer, do matter most. Totally true. R. Schmidt. What about BNB? BNB was another one that had a pumperoni and a dumperoni. Look at the BNB chart. This is a very interesting one because BNB has moved a little bit differently than the rest of the market. That's your 1 year chart. BNB sitting there 550 a year ago. Then homegirl rolls over to 1310. And then back down 870. So even BNB. I mean, everything is doing it right now. Eric Nielsen says, what do I think about Avalanche? Here's the problem with Avalanche. Wait till you see this, okay? And remember, I bring you news, good, bad, happy, or sad. This is your all-time chart for Avalanche. Big amounts of like speculative, oh yeah, baby, 2021, 2022. But since then, yeah, you've had big peaks of volume of interest when Avalanche has been hot, but it hasn't translated to the same price action as we saw in that big speculative boom of 2021, 2022. In fact, what do you notice? The last 3 moves for Avalanche have all been smaller, each one even getting smaller than the previous one. And they've been way, way less than the initial hit above 134. Ja, du hast mich. Ja. Oh, man. What a problem. Yeah, H-bar, I know a lot of people are going to have some orders in, and we're going to see, too, where this floor support really lies. You got a chance at ADA hitting under 30 cents. Charles wants to pivot into night, right? Remember, that's what Charles's big move is, has been going to midnight, the night token. Look at this piece of crap. Highs of 45 cents, and now we're at 5 cents. What are you going to do with that? The 1 month chart down 42%. They launched that thing and it dumped once it hit the open tradable market. Absolutely dumped. So the people, the insiders that bought in, they made the money on the retail exit plan. Lol, du hast, ja, du hast mich. And Mike Ivor says, dry powder's out. That's why it's so important to always have money coming in so that you can take advantage of the dipperonis. And at 10:30, we should be getting more information from the jabronis known as the Senate Ag Committee. In terms of getting like discounts, buying the dip, stuff like that, we're going to have a lot of roughness here. If we don't get the regs, we are really, really going to fall off here. Let's see. You are too real to fail, my man. Well, thank you. Frank is on fire. I seriously, you're going to see the Hopium channels start losing massive amounts of viewership because people are going to be pissed. You're going to see people leaving the, oh my gosh, here's the path to 1,000. And they talk about the same cockamamie shit you've heard for 5 years. The crypto market and the people that are in it now are a lot smarter and a lot more informed. Bobby Flash, not everyone day trades. Some of us like to hold because we don't have the stomach to day trade. And Mrs. Claus, that's a great point. A lot of people have said crypto is a good trading tool, not a good investment tool. But a lot of people that use the word investment, they use that for things with a bit less risk. So be very careful because I think some people are maybe mixing up like nomenclature and mixing up things, maybe not using it correctly. Crypto is volatile. It is also risky. Investment, sure, you could look at it like that. Should you put a whole bunch of your portfolio in there? I don't know about that. Probably should balance it out. Just saying, just probably balance it out because it is so risky. But the reality is it holds big rewards too. And that's what the allure is. And that's why people are here, because we're looking at it going, we need the juice. We need the regs. And yeah, I'm sick of the price predictions too. I'm so sick of the people telling me that trillions are going to flow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? White Pikmin Pro. Love Pikmin. You know, Pikmin, you know, a little bit of Nintendo Switch. Pikmin, Wii. Says, in other words, if regs fail, we should sell our gold and silver and buy the XPH for XLM dips. You got to think, too, you still have the government shutdown coming in. And look, the odds are starting to spike. Oh, shit. We had them go from 80% odds of shutdown all the way down here to 50%. And now they're back up to 67%. The shutdown date is the 30th. That is tomorrow for everyone watching right now. And if we have a shutdown, that's not going to be good for crypto. H-bar officially under the 10-cent mark. There you go. That probably triggered a whole bunch of orders. I'm wondering, just throwing it out here, I'm wondering if we're going to see price hold, like support hold on these things. Because think, H-bar at 10 cents is a big psychological zone. XLM at 20 cents is a big psychological zone right there. ETH at 3, we've seen that's just kind of fading slightly under that. So the ETH3 psychological zone isn't there. Let's see. The thing you need to think about is regs. And are we going to actually get anything? Or is this going to be more being lied to by the government? Let's see. Klaus, are you going to play with it after the stream? Your microphone, what do you think? Dude, my mic, I'm telling y'all right now, my mic is legit. Look, I am pumping out into the orange with my mic. That's how I can tell like what my feedback level is, what my output is with the PC. I could tinker around with a few other settings, but the reality is if my output is strong, it should be good to go. Metals should have a bit more support because think, metals just aren't the United States issue. Metals also feed off of global debt. And it's not just the United States in big debt. It's China. It's Japan. It's France. It's the UK. The entire Eurozone. Australia. Mexico's got a bunch of debt. Korea's got... Everyone's got debt. So the problem we got there is that benefits gold and silver, safe haven assets. Because if paper money means jack shit, what is going to mean jack shit is physically owning stuff. Do you own stuff that other people want? The sound with Mike, it's on YouTube. That is not through me. That is through YouTube. My output is great. We are definitely taking a pooperoni right now in crypto. The other thing I'm going to watch for is to see if the volume upticks on here too. Volume's still only $111 billion. So you're not seeing a lot of people going, oh, buy the dip. XRP, by the way, at $1.80. Thank you for letting me know that the sound is good, Jen and Kevin. Love it. Love the support. What do y'all think of the format that we got going on? What do y'all think of maybe doing a little audio-only podcast? Or I would like just kind of maybe do like an audio segment and not focus too much on the screen? What do you think? Y'all into that kind of stuff? Because I'll keep bringing you the news. Plain and simple. I'm going to keep bringing you the news, whether it's good, bad, happy, or sad. We got a business meeting to consider. Coverage begins at 10:30. We're only 10 minutes away. And when they go live, we go live. Yeah. Yeah, Asian markets have been driving metals heavy. Asian markets are not immune to debt. Japan's 11 trillion. This is just nuts. 11 trillion in debt. That's not good. Korea, 1.1 trillion. That's not good. I mean, we've got some problems. China's 20 trillion, if you believe China. Doubt it. S. Pollock says, good morning, my friend. Gonna start driving, so listening, yeah. Dad, let me know. Seriously, my dedication is to you. The Hopium channels, their dedication is their pocketbook going, oh, everything's gonna moon, buy my course. No. I bring you news, good, bad, happy, or sad. I've been playing Battlefield 6. It's quite good. That's coming from Joe. Thanks, Joe, for letting me know. I've been a little bummed out because, seriously, DDR5 RAM prices are freaking insane right now. Like, to buy my next, like, PC setup, I'm probably gonna have to, like, sell some body parts. Because, holy crap, man, DDR5 is expensive. David Austin says, $1.81. Hey, Zeus, I don't know how much more I can take. Hit the like. That's from Earth Prospecting. Be ready to take more. I mean, seriously, if we don't get anything juicy from Regaronis, we're going to have a problem, everyone. A big, big problem. You need to play Backrooms. Oh. I will keep my eye open for that. They just flash crashed the whole thing. They did. Everything goes down. And that's my point. Everything trades as a blob. Everything has blobs. Goldman Sachs just tweaked its year-end gold price target to $5,400 an ounce. Damn. Everyone's going to be updating. Oh, in fact, Coinbase is jumping in. Here you go. Some breaking news for you. Coinbase adds new metal futures. So Coinbase is getting into metals. So what is this telling you? Even crypto companies are diversifying into metals. So if you want metals coverage, I got your back as well. I've been talking about metals for years, the shiny stuff. You know how many videos I've done about gold and silver thrown into Crypto News Mix? A ton. And I'm going to keep bringing you every financial news thing that matters. No hopium, just the real deal stuff. You want hearings with the Senate? Covered. Why? It affects crypto, doesn't it? Crypto regs. You want shutdown news? Got you covered. Why? You saw the Reddit put up on the screen. Remember the old Ripple court stuff, the old SEC action? Had you covered for that. Done. I will keep bringing you the coverage. Stefano6 dropping support on the channel. Thank you very much, kind sir. It says, getting smarter cost me $10,000 in XRP. Everyone, give Stefanos a big thank you for supporting the channel. Everyone has made mistakes. I made mistakes in the .com bubble. I was really young. I was in my teens and early 20s when I was trading that. And I did good with certain things, but I also got clawed on a few things. I got clipped a couple times with some of my pharmaceutical plays. I got roasted a little bit when I used to do airline stuff like 15 plus years ago. I stay away from airlines now. That industry just always needs frickin' bailouts so they could screw off. Dude, trust me, we all frickin' have learned. That's because not everyone has all wins, and that's the reality of investing. Investing isn't all wins. Investing is just making sure that you have more wins than losses. You win more than what you put in. You beat inflation. You get to your financial goals. If anyone out there is like, oh, my success rate as a trader is 99%, they're full of shit. Everyone gets hosed. No one could have predicted 9/11 and the market's just getting destroyed. So just throwing it out there. At 10:30 is when we get the hearing. Oh, yeah, baby. I've got it up on the screen of Roni right now. Kleenex ready? I've got my Kleenex ready as well. And it's here's the thing. The biggest key in crypto, just have cash coming in so you can take advantage of the dip. Because seriously, let's say you really believe in Crow, or you really believe in Monero. You can't take advantage of these sales if you don't have money. What if the house that you really, 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 really want all of a sudden has a one-day flash sale? Boom, you want this house, 80% off, cash sale. The people in there just passed away. They want to liquidate it instantly, blah, blah, blah. You only can take advantage of the sales if you got the financing, if you got the money. And everyone makes more money. You will always make more money. You will always find more opportunities. There was a .com opportunity. There's an AI opportunity. There's a gold and silver opportunity. There was oil that's played out every so often. I've done really well in the oil markets. Like, I have done some very degen shit in the oil markets. I will totally admit that. Degen shit in the oil markets. And there's been opportunities that's come out of that. Some really good ones. There's been opportunities for the refiners. There's been opportunities out there for the actual miners of precious metals. A lot of things. Diversification. There you go. Diversification. Let's see. I'm trading XRP for Hot Wheels cars. Well, at the price XRP is going, you're pretty close. Right now, XRP $1.81. We're waiting for the Senate peeps to go live. As soon as they do, I will share that with you. They should be going up in about 4 minutes. 4 minutes. And today's expectation is what? Senate Ag Committee. We're going to hear a lot about crypto as a commodity versus a security. We're going to hear a lot about regulation in terms of, is this a CFTC thing or is this an SEC thing? Now remember, the SEC part is going to be in the banking thing, but that's held up right now with yield talk. So that's kind of holding everything at hostage over there. We'll keep you up to date with that. Don't worry. Everyone is also kind of going nuts. Yeah, gold mines are selling like for nuts right now. Why? Because gold prices are up. Machinery. These gold miners now that are making tons of money are now buying tons of machinery. So that probably means that machinery companies are going to be doing what, everyone? Making more money because there's more demand for their equipment. That's what I'm saying. Don't feel bad that you didn't like do perfect with X, Y, or Z. Don't. But just make sure you always got money coming in so that you can take advantage of the next X, Y, or Z. Let me get a little bit of Guade iced coffee right here. Just throwing it out here. Guade iced coffee. That is good stuff. That is dark. That is very strong stuff. We should be able to get this going in about 2 minutes. That's if the Senate is going to be on time. I'll make sure I have the heat map up during this too, so that way we have a better understanding of what's going on here in terms of how bad things get. We're going to see prices, if they're able to stabilize at all. That's going to be an interesting one. These IPOs have been crap. Circle's IPO sounds like shit. BitGo's IPO has been depressing as shit. BitGo's price now $12.53. It IPO'd at $18. $18. I did see H-bar kind of bump back up that 10-cent mark right here. So we are seeing some support show up, but we're going to see if that support holds while these people debate stuff. And yes, they have quite a bit that they're going to be debating. Give me a second here. Let me do a little, hold on a second. Let me do a little of this. Let me make sure. I got my speakers on so I can hear, so I'm just playing with my sound so I know what I'm listening to. Yeah, we've got the banking stuff. We got the Ag Committee happening today. They do have stuff they're going to be discussing. I believe there's 11 of them here that we counted. I'm ready. My funny daughter says, time from casual runner to ultra running, rough time. It takes time to get ready for a race, 9 months to 12 months. If I want to like just throw something together and just like show up at a race, give me like 6 months. The ultra races are rough, man. They beat up your bones. They beat up your joints. They just beat up everything. Best thing you can do, strength train. Strength train a lot. Seriously. Like a lot. Because when you get tired, your form's going to break down. You need that skeletal strength to keep you up. And practice with food, man. Practice with a lot of carbs. I'm telling you right now. That's one of the biggest things out there. We should be getting them at any moment. When they happen, I'm going to bring you the live Aroni of the stream Aroni. Eric Nielsen says what a lot of us are thinking. Time to load the bong and get ready for the good news. Hopefully. But about to take a fat rip, preparing myself for bad news. R. Schmitz is wake and bake. Yeah, I would say so. Now wouldn't be such a bad time if you live in a legal state to get totally ripski to listen to these F-tards for 2 hours. And for real, you want the full definition of Tardo McRardo? It's going to be watching the Senate go at it. Now, this is not going to be a drama situation like the House. I'm just telling everyone right now. You are going to see some people not agree with shit, but this is not going to be like the House where people grandstand and do stupid stuff. This is going to be a bit more reserved, a bit more, you're going to get the factual kind of like more deets here. This is going to be an interesting one. Yeah, core strength is very valuable for long distance running. I totally agree. And mental strength too. You got to go not just into the pain cave, you got to go into the boring cave. Some of these races are like super long. I did one. It was an overnight race in the dark, 1 mile loops. It looked like a loop court, like a NASCAR like loop track. It was like that kind of idea where it was like a 1 mile loop. We did that all night long, 12 hours straight. So it's also like you got to get through the mental monotony of it. So you need mental strength. Bake and shake. Ooh, how about bake and stretch? I love that. The Genomai says, learn on my mistakes. Don't use 5x leverage. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of leverage on crypto because it's already risky to begin with, and you could get washed, man. You could get washed. Little Green Bikes is baking the F out of myself. Just saying. Love it. Waiting for them. By the way, the odds in the government shutdown are 65%. They have gone up. Let's see. Dave Wilderness Adventures says, I'd love to get baked right now watching this. However, I'm 1 km underground at work. Probably not a good idea. No, it is not a good idea when you're underground. By the way, they had an underground marathon. That was wild. It was like, I thought 4,000, 5,000 feet under. That was nuts. Let's see. F leverage. Yeah, I am totally agreeing with you that right now. Waiting for the Senate. They're kind of taking their sweet butt time. They have their own feed through the Senate Ag Committee. It's Ag, Nutrition, and Forestry Department. Again, these are the people that regulate commodities. These are the people that are looking to help regulate crypto for us as a commodity. Let's see. Let's take a look at that silver chart again. Silver now is 112. So you're seeing some profit taking on silver. 113. Very volatile day on silver. But hey, those are fun times in the metals market. We haven't had times like that in the metals market in a long time. For the longest time that I can remember, the gold and silver market would freak out if it lost 2%. Like, if it was down 2% in gold and silver, people would be like, oh my gosh, the world is going crazy. Oh, it was all nuts like that. Now, the silver market's getting a little bit of what's known as volatility lesson. I sold my 1864 Winchester to buy more HBAR XRP. Didn't have Pokemon cards. Still had an OG Expos baseball card. Ooh. There's been a lot of people that have done a lot of sells in order to buy crypto. What are some of the big things that you have sold to buy more crypto? Are there any regrets where you're like, yeah, I sold this, I probably shouldn't have? Still waiting for the Senate Ag Committee. They're not on time. When is the Senate ever on time? Hold on, let me...
Good morning. I call to order today's business meeting of the U.S. Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, Forestry to consider the Digital Commodities Intermediaries Act. This markup is the culmination of literally months of work. The legislation before us is the product of scores of bipartisan meetings and builds upon the bipartisan discussion draft Senator Booker and I released last year. That discussion draft was released in good faith and we received significant stakeholder feedback. That feedback was discussed on a bipartisan basis, and while the conversations were cordial and substantive, what we found is that in some issues there were fundamental policy disagreements. In a democracy, that's okay. After months of work, we have made significant progress, really significant progress working together. Now it's time to move this process forward. As I've long said, the CFTC is the right agency to regulate the spot trading of digital commodities. This bill applies the agency's proven principles-based structure and grants its new regulatory authority to regulate the spot market trading of digital commodities. At a high level, this bill provides a clear definition of a digital commodity, protects innovation and technology, establishes consumer protection safeguards, and equips the agency with the necessary resources to take on this new responsibility. This markup is the first step in advancing market structure legislation in the Senate. Our colleagues on the Senate Banking Committee, under the leadership of Chairman Tim Scott, will advance their portion of market structure legislation in the near future, and I appreciate their hard work. Ultimately, our respective portions will need to be combined before they can move across the floor, and I look forward to working with my colleagues throughout that process. Both of our bills build upon the work done in the House led by Chairman Hill and Thompson, who last summer advanced the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, which received an overwhelmingly bipartisan vote on the House floor. In order to protect American consumers, onshore innovation, and allow U.S. businesses to continue to grow and prosper, we must grant the CFTC regulatory authority over the spot market trading of digital commodities. Advancing this bill is the first step, and there are many steps to come in achieving those goals. I also encourage the administration and Senate leadership to coordinate and ensure that the CFTC is fully constituted and adequately funded. While the CFTC is the right agency for this new responsibility and is under the excellent leadership of Chairman Seelig, it's essential to have a completely staffed, bipartisan commission, and just as importantly, the resources necessary for this large undertaking. I now recognize my friend and colleague, Senator Klobuchar.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and I truly appreciate the bipartisan efforts of this committee in many ways, but particularly the need to address the regulation of digital commodity markets. Last July, as our colleagues are aware, this committee held a stakeholder hearing in which we heard agreement on the need for a regulatory framework for spot markets in digital commodities that provide certainty and encourages innovation, while at the same time ensures customer protection, which is one of our main goals, market integrity, a level playing field for market participants, and appropriate safeguards against money laundering and illicit finance. I truly appreciate the work that you've done, Mr. Chairman, as well as Senator Booker, who is leading our efforts here and is the ranking member of the subcommittee with jurisdiction over digital commodities. We have strong ranking members on our subcommittee, Senator Bennett on conservation, Senator Welch on rural development, Senator Slotkin on livestock, and also very significantly Senator Lujan on the work we've been doing on food nutrition. So the progress that has been made here is good, but I think we believe that we're not quite done yet. Senator Booker and I have talked about this several times, and while the bill before us today does not yet have bipartisan agreement, I hope we can continue to negotiate as this bill moves forward. Additionally, the bill can't be considered in isolation. Parallel legislation within the jurisdiction of the Banking Committee remains unresolved, despite a lot of work that's been done on that front, and we think that that uncertainty has to be resolved. And we believe there's several key issues that must be addressed on ethics, on safeguards regarding public officials and market participants, so that regulatory gaps aren't exploited in any way for for personal gain. Second, we have to protect the independence of the CFTC. And while I appreciate that you, Mr. Chairman, have expressed support for appointing a bipartisan group of commissioners, we can't give the CFTC this broad new authority when it only has one member, one Republican member. Finally, we have to strengthen consumer protections to ensure that customer assets are protected, conflicts of interest are mitigated, and regulatory gaps are closed. But I want to just conclude by saying I truly appreciate the countless hours of work that our colleagues, my staff, their staff, have put into these negotiations, particularly you, Mr. Chairman, and you, Senator Booker. And I look forward to working with both of you as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. And also, I want to echo the hard work of our staffs. We're kind of at the tip of the spear, but we know who does all the work, and they do a tremendous job. And in this case, it's very complex. I think we would all agree with that completely, and they've just done a wonderful job. At this time, I'd like to recognize Senator Booker, and it's been a real pleasure with him, working with him and his staff as we've gone forward, and because of his help, I think we were able to make significant progress.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman, for your generous words. It's been actually a great experience working closely with you through this process. And I, too, want to thank the staffs. It's a great experience I have when I lean in so much. I get to know staff members on my Republican sides by name. Your staffer, Nathan, still has not shaved his head, as I've requested, which I think is an obnoxious act of defiance. But despite that one small hiccup, this has been a great experience. I want to thank Senator Klobuchar, whose leadership and extraordinary partnership in this effort has really enabled us to move the ball down the line. It has really been a privilege to work on these issues. And when Senator Klobuchar asked me last fall to help advance this bill, my team and I have taken it very seriously, and I've been very grateful for a lot of the folks on this side of the table who have really, really leaned in to master some complex issues. Look, we are in a point in American history that is exciting. It should excite everybody in our country. Digital assets and the ecosystem of innovation around financial services, blockchain technology, and decentralization that surrounds them is already a $3 trillion market, a figure that represents millions of customers. It represents thousands and thousands of tech jobs, startups, small businesses across the country. We are seeing an innovation explosion going on because of blockchain technology. This should excite everyone. What I and so many of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle see is that we are standing on the cusp of extraordinary humanity-changing breakthroughs that could give Americans a financial system that is faster, cheaper, and more inclusive. I have seen in my own community that the system we have right now often screws customers, hurts their ability to access financial markets. There is a democratizing force, or at least potential, that is moving across our country and across the world. And that's why in September, 12 Senate Democrats came together to say, we want a market structure bill. Because if we don't get market structure, the threats from around the world could actually make this light and possibility darkness and something we would regret. And so we laid out, as Democrats, what we needed to get there. It's why we have negotiated in good faith to get this bill done in this committee, through this committee. Senator Boozman and I have worked so closely together and productively. And in November, we were able to put together a bipartisan discussion draft, something I am so proud of. One of my better experiences in the Senate was getting this draft done and really putting together principles that have nothing to do with left and right, but principles that we could stand on with integrity. I believe that this could get the bipartisan support on the floor. In our joint press release, we said our bipartisan discussion draft included, and it's important to quote here, we said, a clear definition of digital commodities and the establishment of a spot market digital commodity regulatory regime within the CFTC. We said together that we want robust consumer protections, including customer customer fund segregation requirements, conflicts of interest safeguards, appropriate customer disclosure requirements, and prohibitions on certain affiliated trading. We also said we want a trading registration regime designed to facilitate liquid and resilient regulated markets while, very important, protecting retail participants. We also said we want requirements for the CFTC and the SEC to coordinate and collaborate on necessary interagency rulemakings that this new area of technology demands. We also said, very importantly, we want protections for self-custody and innovative technology. We do not want to be criminalizing people who are writing code. And we said a new funding stream for the CFTC to stand up a spot market regulatory regime. The CFTC does not have the resources to do all that this committee is asking. And so I was excited. I went into the holidays. I got married. I had fun. It was extraordinary. And I came back to this committee. TMI? TMI, I'm sorry. I was so excited I almost drank milk in the committee too. But then I come back to Washington and start the year with the news that my Republican colleagues were walking away from the bipartisan process that produced the draft, and was also walking away from a lot of the very things that I read in the policy framework that held our agreement together. To be clear, the product put before us today is not the bipartisan draft that we're working on. It was negotiated with two parties at the table, but it isn't in accord with the principles we laid out in November in a bipartisan way. However, despite this, I still deeply believe in the work that we've done. We've come so long. In football parlance, I don't know if you know anything about this, Senator Tuberville, but in football parlance, we moved from our own goal line all the way down 70 yards. We're almost in the red zone on this bill. And that frustrates me because I see a bipartisan glide path to land this plane, to punch through the end zone, and I hope Senator Tuberville and I can do an end zone dance together. But what divides us here isn't some fundamental disagreement on both sides. It really isn't. This is not some kind of regular Washington partisanship. We've got this short distance with a clear path forward. This path is, just like we did last year, for us to sit at a table and close out the remaining issues. In the time since pens have been down on the product that's before us today, I've continued working. I sat with stakeholders literally last night. We were clearing up some of the DeFi differences that are not reflected in this bill. We got stakeholder accord last night. To resolve these outstanding issues, we continue to narrow the gap. I'm at the negotiating table, and I'm working with some of the most interested stakeholders in finalizing whether the short strokes, sorry to mix my metaphor, but in the short strokes, we're on the green. This isn't about partisan politics. This is about the process that we begin to heal and redeem Washington. This should be something we stay together and work together until we get it over the line, because I know this from Senator Bozeman, who I also talked to yesterday. There's so much good faith here. I think Senator Bozeman, Leader Thune, and then Chair Stabenow showed in 2022, when we introduced our first crypto bill together, that we could do great things. But right now, our inability to work together and move together in this final process is undermining our ability to get it done. I would be remiss before I conclude my remarks to just say, the White House has made this infinitely harder. And I've had private conversations with Republican colleagues, staffers, that agree with me. First of all, the fact that Donald Trump is grifting on crypto himself, it's like me creating a Corey coin. I'd probably prefer a Klobuchar coin. But this is ridiculous that the President of the United States and his family have made billions of dollars off of this industry and are still trying to create a framework here without the kind of ethics that would prevent this kind of gross corruption in our country that would undermine our nation's democracy. And then second, it's outrageous that we've seen in the last year an attack on independent agencies. How could we not have at the CFTC Democratic members at a time that we're doing this important work? So I'm just going to say right now, I've had one of the best experiences I've had in my 12 years in Washington working with Senator Bozeman. Truly a good man, as we all know around this table. I'm simply asking, let's get back to work. We can finish this in the next week or two in a bipartisan way, have a celebration. I may drink some milk, soy, and we can dance in the end zone when we get this across the line. That's what I'm asking. But until then, we can't support this partisan draft. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, thank you. And again, we're committed to continue working with you. And there's all kinds of mechanisms that we can use to amend this bill in the future if we choose to, in the sense of a manager's amendment, things like that. So we appreciate your willingness, like I say, to continue. What we want is a bipartisan bill. What I'd like to do is, this is so important. Many of you would like to speak for a few. I'd like for it to be 3 minutes, a hard 3 minutes, because we got so much going on at the same time right now. But if you'd like to do that, then let's do it. The other thing is I want to say is we've got a great committee on both sides. You all work together so well. We're very different, which makes us stronger, because when we do come to agreement, it really does represent the entire span of our conferences. So whoever would like to be noted, Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I associate myself with Senator Booker's remarks, all except the wedding part. Chairman, thank you for working with us on this. There's a group of about 12 of us on the Democratic side of the aisle who have been a part of a working group to try to get a market structure bill across the finish line, who've been working on this. Many of the Democrats at this table, part of that group. As a leader in innovation, California understands just how important these developments in technology are, ranging from artificial intelligence to cryptocurrency, all the blockchain applications. We want these jobs, we want this industry to stay in the United States. And that means that we need to have rules of the road where we're not essentially making decisions through litigation, which was the course in the past, and it's a terrible way to regulate an industry. So we need to get this done, and I think we've made tremendous progress. There has been a real narrowing of the gap in our negotiations over a market structure bill. But to underscore one of the points that Senator Booker was making, it's going to need to include ethics language. Now, this shouldn't be ethics language that singles anyone out or excludes anyone. It should cover all federal officials and those in the workforce, from the Congress on up to the President and the President on down. We need to make sure that we're not in the business of issuing, sponsoring, and endorsing our own digital currencies. That's just rife with problems of conflict of interest and self-enrichment. It's not difficult to really write the rules. It may be difficult politically to get them done, but we need strong ethics safeguards throughout the industry, and I think the industry understands that and is supportive of that. We have, I think, made enormous progress on resolving differences on that issue, and on Title I of the bill, we've narrowed the ground in terms of decentralized finance. We're making a lot of progress, and we need to get this done. I expect the vote today in this committee will probably fall along party lines. That is not reflective, though, I think, of the progress that we've made, and it's my hope that we can combine all of our work product ultimately into a single bill that sets clear rules of the road, protects consumers, protects the financial system, supports innovation, democratizes access to finance, sets strong ethical principles. This is not beyond our capacity, and I hope we can get it done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Slotkin.
Thank you. 2 Democrats in a row. I appreciate that. Just want to say very quickly, similarly, I think many of us on this committee appreciate the bipartisan work, and let it be an outpost for bipartisanship in a sea of partisanship that we now have up in this body. And I really hope that that continues. And a lot of us, myself included, were very invested in getting some bipartisan work done on this issue. It's new. It's the exact kind of thing that the Senate should be weighing in on, and to make it sustainable and durable, it should be bipartisan. And I'm just disappointed that we're here where we are, and it just feels like the White House came in on top of everything and said, well, you're doing this work and you're being diligent and you're being the deliberative body, but we want what we want. And so we're going to shortcut what you're doing and turn this into a partisan issue when it doesn't have to be. I would just say the ethics piece to me is a big part of it. And I just think if we're honest with ourselves, if any president, Democrat or Republican, had earned what I understand to be $867 million off of various cryptocurrencies, I know the other side of the aisle would be having a conniption if this had been Joe Biden or Barack Obama. It's just an enormous amount of money. 336 million of that is just from his meme coin. We have to address that issue. It's like a glaring issue. And I get it. Lots of politicians do lots of things. It's just so obvious. And I understand that's hard, but that is the job of a separate branch of government to push back on that kind of abuse of power. Number two, this CFTC, it's supposed to have 5 commissioners. You've said it yourself, Chairman, which I appreciate. Make it be bipartisan. Handing over responsibility for oversight of this bill to one guy who, in his own confirmation hearing in front of our committee, was very open about being very pro-crypto industry, just doesn't give confidence that, again, we're going to have appropriate, balanced oversight on a very new issue. And then thirdly, I want to associate myself with what Senator Moran and others have suggested, the national security side of this. While we're talking about these things as policy issues, let's not forget that back home, any hospital of ours that's been ransomed, any K through 12 school, any unit of government that's been ransomed has always been paying in cryptocurrencies that usually dump out in places like Russia or China or North Korea. So we need, if not in our bill, in the companion bill, real national security language in order to protect ourselves and our people. With those things, I'm here to sign on to that bill. I'm sad that we're having a partisan markup, but look forward to getting back to real bipartisan work on this issue. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator recognized.
First, I want to start by echoing the remarks from Senator Booker as well, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank you. You've been very fair with all the work that I've done on this committee, Mr. Chairman. And as I look to my colleagues on this side of the aisle, I've been proud to work with them, co-sponsor legislation with, I think, each and every one of you. It shows how we can work together. You know, there's a lot of attention to where there's disagreement, but we all know that good work can get done. And I want to applaud you for that as well. I also want to recognize Senator Klobuchar for her work and her leadership as well. And it's fun to know that there's going to be 2 governors from this committee in this next 2 years, but I can't talk about that too much. Now, Mr. Chairman, let me be clear. I remain committed to finding a solution here and a path forward like our colleagues. I'm proud to be part of those 12 Democrats working together, sharing ideas to see what we can do in this space. I've been proud to chat with you a little bit about this as well. Clear rules that are going to support innovation, that are going to provide support to consumers, and that are going to ensure that terrorists and cartels don't take advantage of loopholes. I'll get to that in a minute. Now, unfortunately, when some of our colleagues decided to walk away from that bipartisan bill that many of us applauded in December, I really thought the Ag Committee was in a position to provide the example to the Banking Committee colleagues, some of which are also on this committee, a path forward, because one of us has to go. And if one of us can work on a good, strong, bipartisan piece of legislation, I really believe it provides the path forward to solidifying this on the floor. Now, as you all know, if Democrats wanted a partisan bill, we could have done it when we were in the majority. But that was a bad choice to move in a partisan way, to say, no, I understand basic arithmetic. You know, yesterday, all of the Head Start folks were in town, right, Raphael? Raphael are the only 2 that went to Head Start, by the way. I hope there's more that join us in this body that are members of the Senate. But, you know, I remember this little thing on there that had little beads on it and rods. I think it was called an abacus. And yes. they taught me how to count. Well, 2 years ago, we knew you had to get to 60 votes. The same exists now. We got to get to 60, my friends. And so let's find a way to do that. And let's not let basic arithmetic escape us. And just as my time concludes here, Mr. Chairman, cartels and terrorists, national security. There's not a one of us that serves in this body, not a one of us in the House or in the Senate, that wants to see a loophole that allows terrorists and cartels to take advantage of any of our finance systems. Not a one. Now, we keep talking about this thing called DeFi. Go and have a town hall and talk to your constituents about DeFi and see how many of them are going to be able to talk to you about it with clarity. This is about closing loopholes so cartels and terrorists can't do the bad shit that they are doing. That's what this is. If you don't believe me, go sit in a skiff and get the briefings that many of us have received. It is frightening what they're doing. Let's close it. And I know that we can do it. I've spoken to several of my colleagues. We can get there, Mr. Chairman. That's the one area I've been pushing so aggressively. And I hope we call it for what it is. This is illicit finance policy that we should get right so that cartels and terrorists cannot take advantage of these loopholes. So I thank you for the time, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? Before proceeding to legislation, I ask unanimous consent that letters sent to the committee regarding the legislation we are considering today be included in the record. Without objection, so ordered. I ask also unanimous consent that members be permitted to submit their statements regarding today's legislation for the record. Without objection, so ordered. We will proceed with the consideration of the Digital Commodities Intermediaries Act. Do any other committee members wish to debate or offer amendments to the Digital Commodity Intermediaries
I'd like to
Act?
offer an amendment, Mr.
Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it very much. I call up Bennett Amendment number 2. The Bennett Amendment would prevent all federal elected officials, federal candidates, and certain members of their family from issuing or endorsing digital assets. It requires them to place these assets into a blind trust and ensures that those of us who hold public office, Mr. Chairman, abide by the most basic standards of transparency and accountability. This provision is something I've worked on and advocated for over the last year because I think this issue strikes at the core of our democracy. This amendment is not about crypto or even particularly about President Trump. It's about returning to a system of government and ethics that we thought the American people deserved and that they did deserve, that they do deserve. When Jimmy Carter became president, he placed his peanut farm into a blind trust. When George W. Bush became president, he sold his interest in the Texas Rangers baseball club. Think about how far we are today from when those people served in office in this nation's capital. Republicans and Democrats alike understood that the appearance of corruption or self-enrichment undermined the office they were prepared to occupy and eroded the American people's confidence in their government and in their elected representatives, including the members of this committee. But President Trump's series of opaque deals and investments, much of it in the crypto sector, have raised serious concerns about the buying and selling of public favors, not to mention serious national security risks. That's something I do hear about in my town hall meetings. Since returning to office, the Trump family's paper net worth has at times grown as high as $11 billion, Mr. Chairman. Last year, he and his family earned over $1 billion in realized profit from the many crypto ventures they are involved in. Mr. Chairman, I'd ask to include in the record some articles related to that.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All the Bennett Amendment does, all it does, is prevent the President and Vice President, no matter who they are, and the members of the Senate and the House, from pursuing new avenues for selling influence and self-enrichment, something I think we all could agree with. It prevents all of us around this dais and our colleagues in the House and Senate from doing it in will. And by the way, it requires us to put those assets into a blind trust. That doesn't seem like asking very much, Mr. Chairman. I don't know how we're advancing a piece of legislation on this issue without these rules. It seems like the bare minimum the American people would expect from their elected officials, that they would put their interests and the interests of their communities ahead of any possible opportunity for personal gain. This should be the easiest amendment any of us will ever have the chance to vote on. And it's a chance to be able to send to the American people a message that we understand how skeptical they are right now of a political process and the motivations of those in power. Adopting the Bennett Amendment sends a signal to the American people that their government works for them and for their children, that it is their needs and their concerns that are being taken into account and nothing else left in the balance. Mr. Chairman, I urge my colleagues to support the amendment and thank the chair for the opportunity to raise this issue before the committee.
Thank you, Senator Bennett, and I appreciate your concern and work on this issue for a long time. However, the issue of elected officials and their family members' ownership in digital assets extends beyond the bill and must have input from more members than just this committee if the full Senate decides to consider the issue. For those reasons, I can't support the amendment, and I urge my colleagues to oppose.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to add, if we are going to establish this new regulatory framework, we have to put safeguards in place to prevent corruption, self-dealing, including from those in positions of power who might sponsor, issue, or profit from digital tokens. And I want to thank Senator Bennett for proposing this change, and it has widespread support on the Democratic side. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, as I said, I understand Senator Bennett's concern, your concern, and yet, as Senator Bennett said, this has nothing to do with crypto. And our committee is the Ag Committee, and as a result, this is way beyond its jurisdiction. Anybody else?
Are we going to have a vote, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, seeing no further debate, the question is on the amendment. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Klobuchar.
Aye.
Senator Bennett.
Aye.
Senator Smith. Aye. Senator Durbin. Aye. Senator Booker. Aye. Senator Lujan. Aye. Senator Warnock.
Aye.
Senator Welch.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Schiff. Aye. Senator Slotkin.
Aye.
Senator McConnell.
Aye by proxy. I'm sorry. And I wouldn't do that to Senator McConnell.
I'll tell you what, I thought this was my lucky day, Mr. Chairman.
You're dealing with a chairman that's quite capable of doing it. So, no, by proxy.
Senator Hoven. No. Senator Ernst. No. Senator Highsmith. No. Senator Marshall. Senator Marshall. Senator Tuberville. Senator Justice. No. Senator Grassley. No. Senator Zoon. No. Senator Fisher. No. Senator Moran.
No. No by proxy.
Chairman Bozeman.
No.
The ayes are 11, the noes are 12.
On this vote, the ayes are 11 and the noes are 12. The amendment is not agreed to. Senator Durbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment that is pending before the committee, and I want to make sure I get the appropriate designation for it here. It is an amendment related to the bailout of crypto intermediaries. I don't have a number right before me. Can the staff identify that?
Durbin 1.
Durbin 1.
Durbin 1. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I propose an amendment that would prevent the Federal Reserve or the Department of Treasury from providing digital commodity intermediaries with a taxpayer-funded bailout. Cryptocurrencies are a risky, unpredictable, volatile investment. How risky? Look at the last 5 years. In November of 2022, we saw the collapse of FTX, in which customers lost $8 billion. Months later, Silvergate Capital, Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, all financial institutions that provided banking services to cryptocurrency, and they all collapsed. And in the last year, we've seen a continuous fluctuation in the price of crypto each time President Trump announces new, chaotic tariff and international policies. For example, since hitting a record high last October, Bitcoin has fallen nearly 30%, erasing all gains from earlier in the year. It's clear that crypto, unlike traditional stocks and bonds, is a uniquely risky asset. That's why polling consistently shows that a majority of Americans say they have no interest in ever buying crypto. Last year, that number reached 64%, almost 2 out of 3 of the people that we represent. If and when a crypto crash occurs, American taxpayers should not be left holding the bag, bailing out these intermediaries, especially corrupt crypto ventures that are owned by the president and his family. It would be unfair to expose taxpayers to the risks of crypto market if they've chosen to avoid the risk for themselves. Here's the bottom line. I'm a crypto skeptic. Unless there is meaningful, enforceable regulation, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. That's my decision. But what if others decide it's worth the risk? The reward is just too big to ignore, and decide to invest in it and guess wrong. Who is left holding the bag? Historically, we found with the savings and loan bailout and other tragedies in our financial markets, the taxpayers end up holding the bag. For those who are skeptical of this amendment, let me say the obvious. If you think crypto is that solid, don't worry. No need for a bailout. But if you have a doubt in your mind, for goodness sakes, don't let your innocent taxpayer families hold the bag when this is all over. I hope you'll support this amendment.
Does anybody want to comment on it? Thank you, Senator Durbin. Well, I appreciate your sentiment, and I know it's coming from your heart and you're very concerned. Protecting taxpayer funding, which we all are very concerned about this, protecting taxpayer funding in the event of a failure of a CFTC registered intermediary, nothing in the bill would grant the CFTC authority to provide assistance to an intermediary in the event of bankruptcy. So they don't have the authority to do that now. So an explicit prohibition is unnecessary. Further, the direction to the Treasury Secretary changes to the Federal Reserve Act are better left to the Banking Committee. This is the Ag Committee. The area that we're focused on today is very, very narrow. And so for that reason, we would oppose the bill, the amendment. Anybody else have any comments?
Just that I don't think people want to have the government in the business of bailouts, and there's widespread support for Senator Durbin's efforts on our side of the aisle.
The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Klobuchar.
Aye.
Senator Bennett.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Senator Durbin.
Aye.
Senator Booker.
I love Dick Durbin. Aye.
Senator Lujan. Aye. Senator Warnock.
Aye.
Senator Welch.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Schiff.
Aye.
Senator Slotkin.
Aye.
Senator McConnell. Senator Hoeven. Senator Ernst. Senator Hyde-Smith. Senator Marshall. Senator Tuberville. Senator Justice. Senator Grassley. Senator Thune. Senator Fisher. Senator Moran.
No by proxy.
Chairman Bozeman.
No.
The ayes are 11, the noes are 12.
The ayes are 11, the noes are 12. The amendment fails.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a second amendment which I can offer now if it's appropriate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Not only is crypto a risky and volatile investment, it is used to facilitate criminal scams every single day. There's one type of scam that's particularly concerning to me, scams facilitated by crypto ATMs. These machines have been called the getaway vehicle of fraudsters. That's why I'm proposing an amendment that would provide protections for the victims of crypto ATM scams and help law enforcement combat fraud facilitated by these machines. There are more than 31,000 of these crypto ATMs in circulation, 285 in Iowa, 239 in Arkansas, 427 in Minnesota, 1,484 in my home state of Illinois. These machines have been making local and national headlines. You probably receive calls in your office from senior citizens that tell what happened with the crypto scam. Here's how it works. Unsuspecting American receives a phone call that they owe taxes to the IRS or a penalty for missing jury duty. Then the scammer tells the victim they can pay now so it won't be embarrassing to them and their families, and do it at a crypto ATM. They give the victim step-by-step directions. Head to the nearest crypto ATM. Stay on the phone until the money is deposited into the machine and transferred into their digital wallet. Before the victim realizes it's a scam, their money is gone. Sometimes all of their money is gone. Last year, the FBI received more than 12,000 complaints of crypto ATM fraud and found that Americans reported losing more than $333 million from crypto ATM scams. These scams disproportionately impact senior citizens. My amendment would require crypto ATM companies to register with the CFTC and document their kiosk locations. It would require crypto ATM companies to provide common sense guardrails like mandatory disclosures and fraud warnings, daily transaction limits, and that turned out to be a major element. People give away their life savings to these machines as part of this scam. If we limit the amount they could lose in a day, sometimes they'll come to their senses or somebody will come to their assistance. Lastly, my amendment would provide full refund for new customers and refunds the transaction fees, which can be as high as 26% for existing customers who were scammed. It's time for Congress to do its part. 27 states already have some pending legislation or regulation when it comes to the use of these machines. If theirs is stronger than this federal standard, it applies. We do not preempt any state decision. But Mr. Chairman, I will tell you, I've had cases in my hometown of Springfield, Illinois, where senior citizens have stood crying in front of these crypto ATM machines, giving away their life savings because they thought they had no alternative. It is so embarrassing that the $300 a month paid to the occupant, the landlord, is not enough. Some have said, I've got to remove these machines. I can't stand to see this happen day in and day out. Let's do something for the consumers and senior citizens across America. Please support this amendment.
Does anybody want to comment? Let me very quickly, again, Senator Durbin, I appreciate you bringing this up. This is such an important topic, and I know you've worked hard on it, and I think we all agree with what you're saying. Right now, our colleagues on the Banking Committee have language in their base text around the issue. So I don't want to undermine their work, and I'm happy to work with you and them before the bills are merged onto the floor. So for this reason, we can't support it, but we do support what you're trying to do and, commit to solving this problem, again, as we merge things together and then working with the House.
Just thanking Senator Durbin for proposing this amendment to give the CFTC an explicit mandate for this type of fraud, and we recommend a yes vote, and I think there's widespread support on our side.
Anybody else? Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Klobuchar.
Aye.
Senator Bennett.
Aye.
Senator Smith. Aye. Senator Durbin. Senator Booker. Aye. Senator Lujan. Aye. Senator Warnock.
Aye.
Senator Welch.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Schiff.
Aye.
Senator Slotkin.
Aye.
Senator McConnell.
No.
Senator Hoven.
No.
Senator Ernst.
No.
Senator Hyde-Smith.
No.
Senator Marshall. Senator Tuberville.
No.
Senator Justice.
No.
Senator Grassley.
No.
Senator Thune. Senator Fisher.
No.
Senator Moran.
No.
Chairman Bozeman.
No.
Chairman,
Yes.
for me is no, please.
Senator Marshall is a no.
The ayes are 11, the noes are 12.
Ayes are 11, those are 12, so the amendment fails. And yet again, thank you, Senator Durbin, for bringing it up, and this is something that we certainly commit to helping you and to getting done before we go to the floor. Senator Tuberville.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to offer my amendment, Tuberville number 1. America is a free market economy, but our markets are not free for all. For too long, we have allowed our adversaries like the Chinese Communist Party to exploit our systems and meddle in our markets, investing in critical sectors, manipulating supply chains, and stealing sensitive data from the American people. My amendment is simple. It would prohibit entities owned or under the influence of our foreign adversaries from being able to meddle in our digital commodity markets. If we are to remain the leader of digital assets, we must protect our markets from those who seek to destroy us. This is as straightforward as it gets. This is about protecting the privacy of Americans. This is about ensuring our digital markets are not compromised by our enemies. This is about allowing Americans to invest without fear of being exploited. My amendment will keep America's digital markets secure, private, and free from foreign influence. I'd also like to offer my amendment, Tuberville number 2. My amendment will clarify what activities require registration as a dealer. We are creating new regulatory requirements with this bill, but we must be sure we don't overdo it. We must tailor it to what is absolutely necessary. We all have confidence in the current CFTC chairman, but we need to make sure that we give the Commission appropriate guidance. Simply put, my amendment would clarify that dealer regulatory requirements apply only to the specific activities that require dealer registration. Mr. Chairman, we cannot afford to create an unlevel playing field or harm investors like those back in my home state. However, understanding what we're trying to accomplish today, I will withdraw both of my amendments and ask that you work with me on including these provisions as we work to pass this bill. Thank you.
Does anybody have any comments? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I just want to recognize what Senator Tuberville is doing here. This goes to the point that I was making earlier. One of the amendments does. If my colleagues haven't sat in the banking committee's briefing in a skiff, please go down and learn. There are loopholes that terrorists and cartels are using today that the United States knows about. It's been written about in public sources. All the details have not because of classified reasons. If this can't be voted on in this committee, I would hope it'd be part of the base bill here. This is good. This is something Democrats and Republicans should agree on for the good of the American people. And so I certainly hope, Mr. Chairman, that this language and anything else that Senator Tuberville comes up with that's stronger, that it can be included.
Thank you, Senator Lujan. And again, as you mentioned, it's going down to the skiff and talking about banking. And what we'd like to do is work with you and Senator Tuberville, really all of us working together as we go forward to work this out and work with our friends on the Banking Committee and in the House to figure out a path forward. So we appreciate you offering and withdrawing. Are there any other amendments? Senator Moran.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I too have an amendment in a related vein. The amendment I submitted for this legislation would prohibit the digital commodity platforms from conducting substantial amounts of business or maintaining critical infrastructure within the jurisdiction of our foreign adversaries. As digital asset space grows, more Americans interact with the exchanges and platforms that store their data. It is important we make certain that the Americans' data stays out of the hands of our adversaries. Mr. Chairman, the work that you have put into this bill, along with Banking Chairman Scott, lays the framework for how American digital asset companies can operate and offer their services to their customers. The U.S. can and will be a leader in cryptocurrency and digital asset space, but we should not assume that our adversaries will treat American customers and their data how we would. It's an important conversation that is begun already in this committee. It's an important conversation that requires some careful thought. I look forward to working further with the chairman and his staff to further develop the idea as market structure legislation moves forward. I also thank Senator Slotkin for her partnership on these national security and fraud issues. And I also support Senator Tuberville's amendment that would prohibit companies located in foreign adversary countries from registering with the CFTC. Efforts like these are intended to increase the safety and security of American consumers, a goal that we all should support. And I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and yield back.
Thank you, Senator Moran. And again, we look forward to working with you on this. This is something that's very important. Like so many of the things have been brought up, but we need to work with banking. We need to work with the House and come up with a solution, which we're committed to doing. So thank you for offering and withdrawing, but also just to bring us to understand that this is something we really need to consider.
Mr. Chairman, I withdraw my amendment.
Thank you. I just also wanted to add about how important this is. Thanks, Senator Slotkin, for her work on this, as well as you, Mr. Senator Moran. We look at this, we've got to be protected by foreign adversaries. So thank you for bringing up this amendment. We look forward to working with you on this in the days to come.
Very good. Any other amendments? Seeing no further amendments or debate on amendments, the question is on ordering that the bill, Digital Commodities Intermediaries Act, be reported as an original bill. I note the presence of a reporting quorum. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Klobuchar.
No.
Senator Bennett.
Nope.
Senator Smith.
No.
Senator Durbin.
Nope.
Senator Booker.
No.
Senator Lujan. No. Senator Warnock.
No.
Senator Welch.
No by proxy.
Senator Fetterman.
No by proxy.
Senator Schiff.
No.
Senator Slotkin.
No.
Senator McConnell. Senator Hoeven. Senator Ernst. Senator Hyde-Smith. Senator Marshall.
Aye.
Senator Tuberville. Senator Justice. Senator Grassley. Senator Thune. Senator Fisher. Senator Moran. Chairman Bozeman.
Aye.
The ayes are 12, noes are 11.
The ayes are 12, the noes are 11. With that, the bill passes and will be reported. I ask for unanimous consent in preparing these pieces of legislation for reporting. Staff will be authorized to make technical and clarifying conforming changes as appropriate. Seeing no objection, so ordered. And with that, this phase ends. If anybody else would like to say anything about the bill, we would be glad to entertain that. So I know everybody's busy. Well, go ahead. No. Very good.
See if any of my members.
Thank you to the members of our committee, and the business meeting is adjourned.
And that is it. They rushed through this very fast. Okay, so let's talk about what actually happened. And to do that, we're going to need to have some fun. And that fun is going to come from our friend, the whiteboard. So what we got is this. We've got the Senate Ag Committee said yes to this, okay? They were like, yo, we are cool with this. The Senate Ag Committee is somewhere right over here. So we're going to take our drawing thing, okay? Here's the Ag Committee, all right? That's these people right here, okay? They said yes, all right? So that now goes up to what, everyone? That goes up now to the entire Senate, all right? This was just a subcommittee, all right? So They got that now going up this way. We're going to put an arrow because they went up, right? Here you go. So then what happens is now the Senate, I just made it a little messy right there. What happens is the Senate, there we go, gets to debate it. All right? We get to see what the Senate says. Essentially what happened and what we learned with today's thing, right, with the Senate Ag Committee, is that they do not have enough Democratic support for it to pass the Senate. It was able to pass the Senate Ag Committee right here, upvoting it to the Senate, but they don't have enough votes to make it go through here. There's some ethics concerns. There's problems because the CFTC, who's supposed to regulate crypto, they're supposed to have 5 people on their board, I believe. They only have 1. Everyone else frickin' quit. So we need more debating. They need more work on this. So we're not ready for regs yet, and that's where we sit. Now, what's interesting about that is what happens is in this situation, this comes up through the Senate. The Senate then would be sending it to, we put it over here, they would then send it to the House, all right? We're not there yet, all right? Right now, this is where we're at. We're stuck in the Senate. So, what is everyone's thoughts on what we saw? We had the Ag Committee cool with this. We had a lot of people on the Democratic side saying, no, we are not cool with this. There was a lot of people out there that were like, hey, we're not down with this at all. And essentially, we need more debate. We need more, I guess, center, right? We need more center ground on some of these topics. The banks showed us exactly who is in charge. That's it. The banks are in charge, plain and simple. They said no to stablecoin yield. They've got some blocking happening on the ethics committee standpoint. Apparently, it's okay to insider trade stocks, but you can't trade crypto. Okay, that's kind of a problem. Limbo instead of Lambo. Well done, Bitcoin dollar. I'm seeing your comments there. What happened? They took your money again. They took everyone's money again. Global markets wrecked by U.S. politics. It was all party BS. That coming from Super Shade Tutorials. Totally true. Totally true. And a lot of things that were talked about today, what they even said was, yo, we have this going on in the banking committee, so we got to let them do their thing. Each of these little groups is discussing parts of it. And so what's happening right now is, yeah, we got the support from the Ag Committee. Guy Kemp says, Klaus, the banking committee will have a markup before it goes to the full Senate. Yeah, we're not even there yet. Like the banking committee, we're not even here. The Ag Committee did it. The banking committee, they're somewhere over here. All right. This is the banking committee. All right. This is the banking Senate people, right? This is this is them. All right, there we go. I gotta make an N right there so people don't freak out on me. This is the banking group from the Senate. They haven't even made their bill yet. The Ag Committee got theirs through, but we ain't even doing anything yet with the Senate. So that's way over here in left field. They're not even part of what's going on in here. That's how bad this part is here with the banks. So just throwing it out there, the banks have a shit ton of control. There's not even an arrow for me to draw going this way because they haven't even made shit yet. Now you guys are making me have to erase all my drawings. Right now, the only thing in play is this, the ag part. So, why is that a big deal? It's all about stablecoin yield. Seriously, and stablecoin yield would make all of us a crap ton of money because it would flow a ton of real money into crypto. Not stupid melting faces money. Oh, we're going to have buybacks and backed by gold bullshit. No. Real effing money. Trillions of actual cash coming into stablecoins. I just saw an ad earlier today. It was banks offering, it was a local credit union offering 3.25% for 1 year. All right, 3.25%. Most stablecoin yield 6, 8, 9%. You know how much money would leave these credit unions? How much money would leave these banks if they don't have a competitive product to offer? That's why banks and credit unions and everyone are figuring out they want a piece of the pie, because they really stand to lose quite a bit. There's a ton of people that would take money out of banks and put it into stable coins. And yeah, that's why we need to be careful with this bill. It needs to be done right. We need yield to happen. We need lots of that to happen. Yield, 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 yield. That is where it is. So, did we get action today with the Senate Ag Committee? Yes, we did. But what did we learn? We don't have shit for support from the Democrats, which means the whole Senate vote won't happen, and they're stuck in the Banking Committee right now. So, where does that leave us? Well, we got to see how long this takes the banking people to go. The South Carolina guy is the head of that one. Yeah, we love our Senator Scott. But they're not even here. They don't even have, we can't even call them the Banking Senate Committee. You know what we're going to have to call them? We're going to have to erase a few of these things. So let's just, because they haven't even finished it. So they're the Bar-Sen group. Because we can't even give them anything. We'll just call them the Ba. Or maybe this. Maybe we'll just call them the Bad group. Because that's the banks, right? We're seeing them flex power. Yeah. So if you want stuff to happen, there are 53 seats. 53 seats that are going to be up for election between the House and the Senate as of today. Or last time I checked, sorry. Which was like a couple days ago. But as I'm saying it today, sorry. 53 seats. That's why Fair Shake, that's why all these big companies like Ripple, Coinbase put money into this super PAC. Because they want crypto votes from both sides of the aisle, because you need both sides of the aisle. We technically need 7 Democrats to join us in the Senate to make this pass. 7. What about government shutdown? Odds are fucking roaring back up. Now we're at 70% chance right now that we go into a partial government shutdown on Saturday. The deadline is tomorrow, midnight, which would mean Saturday is when it goes into effect. We saw we had a break here, but it's coming back up, so let's just be cautious of that. Government shutdowns, even small, will have an impact on crypto. It's not a full shutdown. There'd be a very small government shutdown, but again, that's not good for the United States government and faith in the government and all that kind of money from the government, because when a shutdown happens, what do you think doesn't happen? Crypto regs, they don't work on it because they're too busy working on the shutdown stuff. And we learned they still have a lot of Trump derangement syndrome and aren't down with Trump and crypto. Well, how about Pelosi and her stocks? Oh, I'm sorry, it's okay for one, not the other. That makes no sense. I'm going to have a little Guaistade coffee to help my throat out here. Thanks, everyone, for watching. What are your comments? What are your thoughts? I want to see. Let's go to chat a little bit. Hang out in the chat world. That is good. Ooh. Let's see. Would that not be funny if Coinbase offered a 6% yield return because they wouldn't accept the bill and everybody still flooded crypto for the return? Yeah, that's the whole point. Coinbase, even Ripple. Ripple is like, look, man, I know some bill is better than no bill, but at the same time, if they could get something juicy with stablecoin yield put in for retail markets, do you know how insane that would be too? There'd be a ton of people that are like, you know what? I believe in Ripple, the company. Let me park my money into some RLUSD for some yield on the retail end. That would be big too. And that's why a lot of these companies are sitting here going, we need regs. These executive orders suck, man. They totally suck. And the whole thing is the crypto market is big. The crypto market is a massive global market. It needs updated regs. Is it as big as the gold and silver market? No, of course not. But it's new. By the way, silver at $112 right now. If we don't get this crypto bill soon, right? If we don't get something from the Senate Banking Committee soon, right? These peeps over here, we risk stalling until midterms with this stuff. We could run into some big problems here. If that happens, you're going to see some retreat down to Gensler era prices. I mean, look at what are these charts telling us right now? They're telling us things are pretty soft, and volume's not even crazy. So, like, when people are like, oh my God, we're buying the dip, you're never going to see prices this low again, the volume's not reflecting of it. Volume is only 129 billion. That's nothing. That's nothing at all. So what are you noticing? We're seeing the dips, but you're not seeing big, crazy buys for the dip. You're just seeing some buy-in for the dip. Crypto is taking a serious poop. 187 Mako says, I hold physical gold and silver and PAXG because I earn yield on it with DeFi. That's the whole thing. Yield is huge. Everyone out there that earns yield on something, yield is big. Gooner says, being outside the U.S., why in the heck is the Senate Commission on Ag, Nutrition, and Forestry deciding on crypto regs? Because the Senate Ag, Nutrition, and Forestry Department is the one who oversees the CFTC. The CFTC is the organization in the United States that regulates commodities, gold, silver. You want crypto to be like a commodity. You don't want it to be like a security. That's the SEC. They got a lot more strict rules. You want crypto to be seen as a commodity, something that can be mined, something that has like independent supplies and stuff, right? Like a yield, a generator. You want to see that. So that's why the Senate Ag Committee is involved, because they oversee the CFTC. Let's see. By October this year, as we always do, 4 years, the bill will probably pass at the end of this year. No, at the end of this year is midterms. There is no bill passage at the end of this year. They simply wouldn't have the votes. We just heard they don't have enough votes in the Senate from the Democrats to make it happen. You need 7 votes in the Senate to make it happen. And right now, these people are like, we care about crypto. We want to get it done. But we got some government shutdown concerns here with DHS funding. Gooner says, okay, Klaus, thanks for the clarity. You got it. That's why I like the chat. That's why I like the comments. Jason Hutchinson says, I've already stopped using my bank for much. I plan on getting out of crypto on the next pump. The banking cartel, along with Trump, are shitting on the financial environment. That's one of the biggest points out there. Is there are people that are using banks less. If we saw yield as a product, you would see banks be used way less. That would just completely flop the CDs. That would completely flop the high yield savings accounts. That would completely flop a lot of the passive accounts, because people would just park their money in these exchanges that are publicly traded, where we can track to see how well they're doing financially. These old folk need schooling, passing, understanding tests. Yeah, these people are fairly out of touch, but they're still the ones that are in charge of it, and that's what sucks. We're being tugged by them. They did get through all of these, and everything was voting down party lines. For those of you that do not know what that means, that basically means Democrats vote one way, Republicans vote the other. So even though you have pro-crypto Democrats there, they still aren't in support of the crypto bill the way it is written. 187 Mako says, I have my direct deposit going to Uphold. That's my point. For everyone's direct deposits that go to Uphold, right? That's deposits that aren't going to banks. For every person that puts money in stablecoin yield, that's all money not going to banks. Josh W's hanging out with us, says, thank you, Klaus. Today was a record video. Today was a fun one. They're always fun. Chat's always so cool, too. Like, seriously, chat's always awesome. And yet, charts absolutely suck massive huevos right now. It is a painful situation right now up on the old chart, Aronis. Let's take a quick look at XRP. We'll never see prices this low again. That's what a lot of peeps have said. And there you go. There's the poop sandwich that we just took a big bite out of. Ranger Perez says, but XRP has clarity, so where does it leave it? XRP does not have clarity. XRP has one judge, Judge Torres, who took the laws from 1933 and 1934 and said, this is how I feel they apply to crypto. Yes, laws from 1933 and 1934. It is her interpretation. Another judge can hear an XRP case and be like, you know what? I don't interpret it this way. I interpret it that way. Regs are massive. Regs are real clarity for crypto. So anyone out there that's keeping up with the whole stupid XRP has clarity, no, it doesn't. If it had clarity, it would freaking roar while the rest of the market stalls. And what are you noticing right now? Guess what? The entire market is stalling. So stop believing the whole stupid XRP has clarity thing. No. Even executive orders from a president only last until what? They get canceled by the next president. God. Ugh. 187 Mako is helping us out here. Says the direct deposit up to uphold is good. They give you 4% XRP2. Yeah, I'm serious. Seriously, that is like the biggest thing out there. Yield is massive. I can't stress that enough. O'Flow says, what does proxy mean when they vote? Okay, when they're voting by proxy, that means they're not physically there, so they have someone casting their proxy votes. Some of these, like this was just a subcommittee thing. When we go to the full Senate or Roni thing, like the big Senate, once we finally get the bill from the banking group here, you need everyone's butts in the seats for that. Unless something crazy dumb happens that they would grant an exception, you ain't getting by proxy. Remember the person that got delayed by the weather the last time with the flights? Yeah, I think it was flights, TSA, whatever the fuck it was. They were trying to get into D.C. We waited for them. What's the next important date regarding this? Okay, the next important date is here. The 2nd of February. On the 2nd of February, what's happening is this. You've got a White House meeting trying to get the people together in the Senate Banking Committee. That is big. That is the White House stepping in saying, look, you're over here, you're both way far apart. We are going to work on this. So let's do this. Let's go to a little bit of Google's action, and we're going to put White House Senate meeting, right? Let's see. We're going to go to this. We're going to go to news. You're going to see what I'm saying. Let's see. Trump is holding a cabinet meeting over questions about DHS. Got it. They're trying to avoid the shutdown. We're also going to see the White House talk about what, everyone? Talk about the Banking Committee and yield. See? White House set to meet with banks and crypto companies in order to broker a deal. That is happening on February 2nd. White in Vermont says, thanks, Klaus. You are very welcome. Thank you. Will I live stream this event? I do not think that this meeting is going to be open to, I think this might be a closed door meeting. I've yet to get the details on it. This just happened live before we started this stream right here. So I was able to bring it in my morning report, but I wasn't able to see on how they were going to. Hey, if they do it, we will stream it. If they got this live, we will definitely freaking stream it. So the 2nd is a big one. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a live stream in regards to government shutdown. Because think, if the government shuts down again, what's going to happen to crypto prices? Probably aren't going to go money print or go brr, right? I think we know that. So, be ready, all right? Be ready for a few days that are going to be pretty wonky. Miguel Casillas says, so February 2nd is the next scheduled dump. Dude, you can have a dump tomorrow going through the entire weekend if we still have a partial government shutdown. That still doesn't say, hey, have faith in the United States government. This is freaking awesome. So yeah, there's some definite opportunities here. I was thinking about trigger pulling. No, I lowered my targets quite a bit over the last couple days in case we had some bad news. We're seeing some of our favorites hold support, which is great. Silly Sam dropping support on the channel too, which is great. Thank you, Silly Sam. Everyone give Sam a big thank you for that. Says, thanks for the live, Klaus. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to bring you as much news coverage as I can because you got a couple big events that could be some hammers for crypto. No. If we can get the shutdown to be over with, cool. But remember, this is only a partial government shutdown. This isn't going to be the bad, totally shit show shutdown. This is just a limited portion of the government that would be shutting down. So I will cover that as well. Thanks for giving Sam the big thanks. I like seeing that kind of love in the chat. Mr. Smith says, why sell for a loss right now? Honestly, there's a lot of reasons. There are some people watching, listening, that maybe had a big car bill come up. And they're like, dude, I got to sell some of my crypto bags in order to pay for this car repair. There are people out there that are like, yo, there's going to be this house for sale on the market that pops up. Maybe I can sell my crypto for a down payment on a house. Like, dude, I've been waiting for this house for like 4 or 5 years. Maybe that's the deal. There's lots of reasons. There's also players out there that give investments time. And they're like, hey, the time is up on crypto. I am going to chase like oil, or I'm going to chase airlines. People do it for all sorts of reasons. Some are selling at a loss, thinking they're going to buy in lower from here. That the government shutdown and the whole problems with not even having anything coming from the Senate Banking Committee is going to push crypto prices even lower. We're seeing it happen because we're also seeing the volume not support any of these dips. Guava Huncho says, but overall, Klaus, after today, do you think we'll pass this year? Now, the way it stands right now, there's no way we could pass it this year. There's no support. The banks, for some reason, have just put this line in the sand, and we know what the reason is. They don't want to lose money. The banks have drawn the line in the sand, and yeah, they're saying you're not getting yield. And crypto's looking at this going, no, we need yield. But XRP, cross payments, what the hell happened? Maybe Schwartz is leaving is an insight. Look, here's the deal. All the hype with flipping the switch was exactly that, flipping the switch. All the hype with payments, that went to stablecoins because stablecoins got regs. They got the Genius Act. But banks found a way to use the Genius Act to block yield, which isolates and protects the bank's cash holdings. So the thing is this, in terms of like, where do we stand now? Honestly, we're running up into the problem with government shutdown because we're seeing the odds increase. And when the government is shut down, we're not working on regs. And we're also running into the problem of midterms. Midterms are coming up soon. People want to get elected. So they're going to stop this crazy politics that might cost them some votes. And they're going to do whatever they can to whore themselves out for votes. Some people also can't wait the time. Governments take forever. Things don't happen fast. And remember, the reason crypto got screwed for years with Gensler, with the Biden administration, is because the regs in play right now, and the regs that are in play then, are the 1933 and 1934 Securities Act laws and the exchange, or the exchange laws. That's what's hitting us right now. We need new updated regs. Totally need new updated regs. Loss, trust me, people are in losses. There are still people that are in the green. Anyone that's bought like 15 months out ago are still in the green, but you're sitting going, oh, crap sandwich. What the hell, man? Like, and I get it. It's frustrating. Mako says, I'm pretty bearish on crypto at the moment. Bear cycles, and though it's true. Gold and silver was boring for a long time. You think anyone was really talking about gold like in super excited way they're talking now in 2021, 2022? No, there was just no action. All of a sudden, now that price is high, people are chasing silver like, oh my God, like it's the newest thing out there. It's not. It's not. It's all about the banks and how much power and control the banks have. That's why you see Warren fighting this crypto stuff left and right, because Warren has massive support from the banks. The banks have bought Warren's vote. We saw it today. Every vote today was Democrats on one side, Republicans on the aisle. It's all about yield, baby. Let me take a quick drink. So for everyone watching, what did we learn? Banks got power, baby. They want to protect the cash they have in all their accounts that generate shitty yield. And think we could get a whole heck of a lot more yield. That would be great. We would all love more. So, there you go. This is the situation is the second. And if the meeting on the second gets canceled, crypto will shit itself. White House even said, if they're not even close to making something happen, they're not even going to host it. So there we go. The current sitch. What's everyone's thoughts and comments? Let's go to chat. See what's going on. Silver made a lot of peeps a nice return. Silver did make everyone a lot of nice return. A lot of peeps. Gold too. You got the housing market, though, where people are still way up in money, but the rates are kind of F, so we're struggling with housing. People can't really cash out on the housing juice because there's no one to sell your home to, because you don't want to leave a 3% loan to like a 6.5%, 7% loan. That's kind of holding things back. So we need help with that. Audubon Young says maybe Brian Armstrong is right to say no reg is better than a bad reg, since the banks can use the Genius Act to block yields. Maybe the Genius Act was a bad deal just to get it through. The Genius Act made it so that stable coins are backed by treasuries, aka government debt. The government found a way to pimp a bunch of debt onto stable coins. That's what backs a ton of stable coins out there, is U.S. treasuries. A lot of them are short-term treasuries. Yes, there's liquidity there. Yes, it's really good. People like it, but it's still government debt. And what are we seeing? Dems on one side, Republicans on the other side. That's exactly where we stand right now. Banks are wedging us very, very easiest to see. Why did crypto crash? Because a lot of the market's realizing we don't have the votes to make this happen. And we're risking the fact that crypto regs might not happen in 2026. Anyone else got any questions or comments? We're gonna do this. We're gonna take the stream till noon. Hold on, here we go. Stream ends at I can't type, everyone. At noon. Holy shit, I really can't type. At noon Eastern time. So get your questions and comments in now. And hey, for everyone that's in the loss right now, there's a lot of people that are in the loss. But you remember, what's partially to blame for this? The government promising us they would give us regs. The government promising us, or people in the government like the president promising us a XRP strategic reserve. All the influencers that promised $100 XRP by the end of the year. All the influencers that promised XRP was going to be backed by gold and the government would do a buyback on it. So we got a lot of people to blame. There's been a lot of people that have been misguiding the crypto markets. A lot of people overhyping it, creating such crazy expectations that when people don't even get close, like not even like a close, they just end up selling because they're like, oh, this sucks balls. Sucks balls. So that's the piece, man. Dudes, chicks, blue-haired giraffes. Time is ticking on the banks. But BitBoy said we would moon by now. That's right. $10,000 by Friday. Yeah. So since Trump has taken office, the majority of alts are down anywhere from 50 to 70%, with some of the more riskier plays down 80 to 85%. Seriously, blame a lot of the influencers out there that called and created stupid hype about expectations that were unreal. They set the industry up to fail. These creators out there that call for dumbass prices ruin the market because they build expectations so high for people that these people end up selling because they're like, oh, we're not going to 10,000? Oh, dude, I'm screwed now. How about all the people that got wiped out in leverage because of bullshit information? Or how about all those BitBoy videos where all he did was talk about his insider source of a settlement? The case has already been settled, guys. All the people that lied, I'm telling you. Oh, XRPL, that's what the Russian stock market's going to run on. We heard it. We heard it. Trust me, lots of people are at a loss in crypto. And that's why the government needs to get something done, because crypto has a strong voting presence. The crypto super PACs won 91% of their elections. 91%. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. We had the Senate Ag Committee pass through their part of the crypto regs. That now means it goes up to the whole Senate. That's just their part. The problem we have is the Senate Banking Committee, okay, don't even have regs yet. So I can't draw a red line connecting the Senate Banking Committee to the Senate because it has not passed. The only thing that passed is the Senate Ag Committee's part. So the problem we got is yield. Yield is still not working with the banks and the crypto people. It's still just not there. So I can't, like I said, I can't draw a line to here to get this thing to work because we're so far away from that. Now, once it passes the Senate, awesome. The House can ramrod it through. But we can't get it through the Senate because we need 7 votes from the Democrats in order to make this work. And today, every Democrat voted against all of the crypto stuff. Every one of them voted against it. The only reason it went through the Senate Ag Committee is because the Senate Ag Committee was 12 people that were Republican, voted pro-crypto, and the 11 people that were Democratic voted no. That is your summary of what happened today. The next biggest event comes on February 2nd. February 2nd, the White House is going to be hosting a meeting. This meeting is going to be between the banks and crypto companies to see if they can get some sort of compromise to happen. That's the 2nd of February. The White House also said, hey, look, if we are so far away from even coming together, so far away, we're going to cancel that meeting on the 1st. So pay attention over the next several days. You've got government shutdown odds that are increasing. Not good, Aroni. Right? We got those odds down to 50%. Now we went back up. Beth, thank you for the support. Thanks, Klaus, for the live and running an extra lap for me. Hope you have a great day. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Everyone give Beth a big thank you. We're doing this live. I'm giving you the summary while live. So you got the odds of the government shutdown now going back up, 71% chance. That can push risk assets like crypto more into the red. And the market started dumping this way because we learned that we don't have the votes in the Senate to get it to move. So meeting on the 2nd, hopefully we can get through the thing with banks and yield with stable coins. $6 trillion at stake. The banks themselves have said $6 trillion is at stake. That's a lot. That is a ton. Banks know that's a lot of money that'll flow into stables and will flow into alts as well. So we're far away from getting it through into a full vote on the Senate. This was only a fraction of it. The big problems that they had, Democrats, all right, zooming out, what were the big problems with the Democrats? Number 1, ethics concerns. They don't like that Trump and his family is big into crypto. Okay, what about Nancy Pelosi and her stock plays? Cool to insider trade stocks, but crypto is offhand? Okay, cool, I get it. Rules for thee and not for me, whatever. That was a big problem. The other problem is they want crypto to be a commodity run by the CFTC. See, that's why this was done by the Ag Committee, because the Ag Committee is the one that oversees the CFTC, the budget, and all that. So they want crypto to be a commodity. The problem is the CFTC only has one big person there. And I believe they're either supposed to have 4 or 5. I think there's 4 people missing to make 5 total. There's only one person at the CFTC. Everyone else quit. So the Democrats are like, wait a minute. How are we going to regulate crypto if we don't even have the organization that's supposed to regulate it have all their big people in play? And the Democrats are going, well, wait a minute. You want this to be bipartisan. There's not a single Democrat on the big board for the CFTC. Yeah, that's a problem. So not only do we have problems with the banks not wanting to give up their power, Warren is going to put up that fight. You're going to see that. But you also have problems on ethics, right? President's family president getting into crypto ventures, politicians getting into crypto ventures, and you're also seeing problems with the other side that I just discussed. There's a lot of things holding this up. And the CFTC is going to take some time to get those people in. We just got the CFTC person confirmed just now. So that is your update on where we stand. Yes, we got the vote done out of the Senate Ag Committee, but we don't even have the bill coming from the Senate Banking Committee. Once that passes that Senate, we get the votes, the House can ramrod it through. But government shutdown, though, is right where, everyone? Government shutdown is right around the bend. And that's what everyone's freaking out about. The deadline for that is January 30th, midnight. Buckle up, kiddos. It's going to be a wild ride. All right. I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to put some music on. I just threw a little outro there for you. I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to hang out with the chat. Hopefully y'all are cool with that. And yeah, I will do a little hang out with chat, a little choo-choo biznatches. I think that's how it goes.